Hey guys, so today's video is about Gabbie Hanna and everything to do with that. So today's video is very kindly sponsored by Wild, who are a natural deodorant brand, and I always love buying natural deodorants, but some of them are just inconvenient to use. The packaging sucks, or they just don't work, or they don't smell amazingly well. These do all of the above. The amazing thing about Wild is obviously the deodorant is natural, so it doesn't irritate your skin. I have issues with my armpits that are embarrassing. So for example, if I use a regular deodorant, I end up having really dry armpits, and that's just like a great look. It's a great look, actually. And then, you shave and then it stings you because your skin's irritated. I never have that problem with Wild. I've tried it for ages now, and the problem is not there. My armpits are moisturized. Guess why? Because there is shea butter in there. Of course there would be, because it's a genius idea, right? Moisturize your armpits and don't stink at the same time. Another awesome thing is the fact that the packaging that it comes in is reusable. It's actually a metal case that you just refill with little cardboard refills, which is incredible. It's genius, and it's so good for the planet, which all my favorite things in one go. So Wild comes in a bunch of shades and a bunch of scents, so I'll go over all of them right now. I have the pink one, which is quite obvious. It's obvious I would go for the pink one. It's got my name engraved on it, which is an awesome touch. No one can use my deodorant now because it's got my name on it, right? It's basically like a lock that you don't have a key for. It's my deodorant. But there's also an aqua color, a coral, purple, electric blue. There is also a subscribe and save option, so the more you buy, the more you save, and that is on top of my discount, which I'm giving to you guys, which is a 20% discount with the code Angelika, or just by simply clicking the link in the description. Is the first one, which I think is just great because you're saving money on the set and then you're saving money on my link, and it's just overall affordable, eco-friendly, good for you, all in one go. They have a few different scents. So for example, they have jasmine and mandarin, they have fresh cotton and sea salt, they have rhubarb and raspberry, but then my ultimate favorite, the coconut and vanilla. But on top of that, they actually have just launched a new scent, peach bellini, which is just, who doesn't like peach bellini, but also who doesn't want to drink a peach bellini? Just saying. You can also add on a soap in the same scent, or a mini deodorant if that's something that you want to throw in your handbag, which I think is just super convenient. So like I said, you can click the link in the description or use code Angelika for 20% off your new favorite deodorant. It's my new favorite deodorant. It's the only thing I want to use on my armpits. I had other deodorants I had to finish off, and it was a horrendous experience. So now my armpits are doing great. Thank you for asking. And it's all because of Wild and the shea butter and the amazing consistency. And I also don't smell, which is a great thing for me. Now let's get back into the tea. Social media will be in the description along with my second channel, anything else you might need to find. Let's just get into it. So Gabbie Hanna over the last year, 2 years, possibly 3 years, has been really struggling, but on the internet, just with criticism and people not really enjoying what she's putting out there, what she's doing, the way she's behaving. And that also came into a big finale, a big climax with her series that she didn't finish. So if you guys don't know, she was going to do a 12 to 13 part series about everyone that has wronged her on the internet, including the crew of Escape the Night, Trisha Paytas, Rice Gum, T Channels, everyone, and of course Jessie Smiles, which I think that was the episode that really just pushed everyone over the edge. She was already getting a lot of hate for that series, mainly with like Escape the Night and people debunking a lot of her lies. I think the Jessie part really pushed people over the edge, and at that point she, I think, saw that it wasn't worth it for her to continue the series, because clearly like the message that she was trying to put across just was not coming across. So she actually ended the series early, and then she just disappeared off the internet. She actually blacked out all of her channels, deleted a bunch of videos on her main channel, including story times and anything like that, and kept a few videos up, mainly just music videos. She has also but in the meantime, she also had a podcast with her friend Irene, and she actually ended that whole podcast. So why am I going over all of that? Because there's some updates about what Gabbie Hanna is doing. So Gabbie has actually been posting a lot of her artwork on Twitter, which is just like paintings, and that comes up later on. Obviously, Gabbie's also into music, so she's starting to do shows and trying to release albums and trying to make her music career her like main source of income. But also she's been posting a lot of weird videos on the internet, so she started multiple different channels, and it's very difficult to find them all because now she's like, she doesn't brand them as Gabbie Hanna, she names them like other things, but they're pretty small channels around like the 50k sub mark, which it's small, but it's not, you guys get what I'm saying. It's like not as big as obviously her main channels, but she does these little channels, and then she'll post like 5 videos on there and then just like give up and then just like stop posting on it and just start posting somewhere else and start a new channel. So she's been doing this for like a year now, so it's very difficult to find everywhere that she posts because she makes it so difficult to find. I'm assuming on purpose. So she has now started new channels. One of them is called I Talk Too Much, which is an ASMR channel, but like a a real life ASMR channel. And then another one called Look Design Co, which is actually to do with her art. So she has a website and then she's going to be doing a YouTube channel for it. I'm assuming she's going to like start selling her art, maybe like her paintings. And then she's posting a new podcast on her main channel, her Gabbie Hanna channel. Now, she actually announced about like a month ago, she announced a podcast with Farrah Abrams, who was on Teen Mum. Like, she was one of the most like famous people to come out of Teen Mum, but she's also very problematic. People find her to be just very difficult to work with, a diva. She's just done a lot of questionable things that people don't agree with. So it was very fitting that Gabbie and Farrah would have a podcast together. You bring the two divas that are very difficult to work with together, to work together. It's either going to be a gem or a complete nightmare. So they're either going to cancel each other out or amplify each other. Who knows at this point. But they posted this teaser for it and like this explanation for why they're doing this mental health podcast, which I'd rather listen to like a professional talk about mental health. If it's supposed to give people advice and tips, I'd rather it be like a professional. But, you know, everyone's allowed to talk about their own mental health as long as they give a warning that they're not like a professional. I think it's fair enough. Fair game. Everyone talks about their mental health and it should be a destigmatized thing. But they talk to, you know, they said they would talk about conspiracy theories and mental health and just life. And they had this teaser where even in that teaser, Farrah starts shouting at a man that is walking outside on like, not in her house, outside where he's allowed to walk. It's a public area. And she starts shouting at him that she's like filming a video as if it's any of his business. As if he cares. He doesn't. He's allowed to just walk there. And it just shows like the criticism that people had for her come out literally on camera. And what was actually very interesting is after they announced that they would have this podcast, Farrah was arrested she was detained in some way for battery because she attacked a bouncer when she was out clubbing, which is just great. It was just fitting. People thought that it was either like real and just great timing, or it was a PR stunt to get more views for the podcast. Now, I don't know, but the podcast was supposed to come out like last week, a few days ago. It just hasn't. So it's either delayed or it's cancelled. And why I'm leaning towards it being cancelled is because Gabbie Hanna just started her own podcast. And would she start two things at the same time? When she claims that she hates social media so much that she just doesn't want to do it and she just wants to focus on music, would she be starting two projects outside of music to take up her time instead of just focusing on the music thing that she really wants to do? I don't know. But basically, it's called The Show Must Go On. And so far, there's 3 episodes. The first one is the one that I'm focusing on because that's when she said the most things to do with her just being on the internet. And then episode 2 and episode 3 to me was just a bit of rambling, which is fair enough. Like, I'm not saying it in a bad way. I'm just saying it was more so just rambling to the camera, just like venting, talking about different topics that she finds interesting, etc. But the first one was kind of an introduction to just her presence on the internet now. So she said that she is not fun to be around when she's creating content, whether that be on social media or music, that she's just not like a fun person to be around when she's content creating, which makes sense in some way, shape or form. It makes sense. And anyone that's ever been around her when she's content creating has said that she's not fun to be around and that she's actually a diva. So that applies, and it's in some way self-aware, and I'm glad that she's bringing in some self-awareness into her life. She says that she needs to do music or she won't be happy. But then whenever she does social media, she's unhappy. But in order to be able to be successful in music, she needs to do social media. So then she's in like this debacle now where she either stops doing the thing that makes her happy, because then she can also stop doing social media, which makes her unhappy, or she can stop doing social media, which makes her unhappy, but then also would have to stop doing music, which is the thing that makes her happy. So she's in this like battle, I guess, for whether she wants to continue doing social media or not. She also mentions how she needs to do social media to be successful in music, because that's how you get successful nowadays in the music industry, and that for that she needs to do social media, which is the thing she hates, allegedly. Which also makes me think that she would not do 2 podcasts at the same time because she hates social media so much that I feel like this would just take up too much time for her. So she says that she hates it, and she already she already saw the comments that would come up, and she said that yes, she could in fact do a 9 to 5, and that, you know, people doing 9 to 5s might be more miserable than her and are struggling a lot more for a lot less money, and that she gets how her complaining comes across, but she just hates social media. She hates that she has to do social media in order to be successful in music, which I don't think is the case. I think if she signed with an actual label, they could do a lot of the marketing for her without her having to be on social media. There are a lot of celebrities and a lot of singers that don't have access to their social media. Their social media is just a marketing tool. Like, I'm pretty sure Adele, when she did a video of Nicki Tutorial, said that she has no access to her Instagram a lot of the time. Like, she doesn't have the password, she can't get in, and her team just posts album releases, tours, etc., but she has no access to her social media accounts because they just use it as a marketing thing. And because they have access to her social media and part of their job is marketing, they're able to obviously just market her music without her having to tweet, post on YouTube, etc., etc. There are so many musicians that have never had a YouTube channel, that don't have a TikTok account, that barely post on Instagram. Why? Because they're signed to a label and the label deals with marketing, aka billboards, bus ads, you know, the whole thing. They don't need to create drama around themselves on the internet to succeed in music. And if you have to cause drama and scandals and you have to cause people to hate you on the internet in order to sell your music, then maybe your music just isn't good enough. And I get that it's very difficult to get signed to a label. I get that. And I get that some people don't want to sign to a label because they want to be more indie and they want to be independent. But how about then you actually focus all of your social media on music? Because there are so many people that blew up on TikTok from just creating music. They create trends, there are so many small indie singers that are not signed to labels that I found through TikTok, not because they were causing drama on themselves, because they created music and then used that music to create some kind of a trend on TikTok or to just create buzz around their music. You don't have to have people hate you in order to get attention. So I just think it's a very flawed narrative. But anyway, that's not my business. She wants to be musically successful enough to just use social media to push her music instead of having to do all the other stuff. But she understands that she has to do all the other stuff in order to be successful in music. Then she talks about her mental health and how she's been struggling over the last, while, and how she just struggles in general in everyday life with just her mental health. But that's kind of besides the point. That's not to do with social media. Well, it kind of is, but it's not to do with what I'm talking about right now. And then she has episode 2 and episode 3 where she just continues on talking about, mental health and her animals and just what she does to cope every day, things like that. In general, that is it. She's started this podcast to, I guess, talk about just her feelings and her thoughts, which makes me think that she's not going to do the podcast with Farah, which I wonder if she's going to address it in one of her episodes, or I wonder if maybe it's delayed or something, because I don't know, I think it was pretty interesting that she was going to do this podcast with her and then just out of nowhere she just doesn't release it, just stops abruptly. As quickly as it was announced, that's how quickly it ended, which I think is pretty interesting. So I'm just popping back in because more has happened. Because this is a sponsored video, I had to wait a few days for it to get approved and more things have happened, so I'm just going to put it in this video instead of making a whole separate video because I think it's more efficient. So Gabbie Hanna has now done her live show that she promoted in her new podcast that she has on her channel, and it's not getting the best responses. So there's these TikToks that she posted, so I'll post a TikTok and then show you guys the comments under that TikTok. So for example, this TikTok. And then we had Don't Be Shy, show the 10 people in the audience. Talent show day at the psych ward, which I do think is quite ableist. And obviously it is mocking mental health, which I just don't think is a good look. So I just wanted to point that out. Someone said, Don't be shy, show the audience. My drunk auntie at my cousin's wedding. People pay for this. And then we have this TikTok.
This is a message directly from my fans. You guys got me emo as right now, for real. I've been crying for the past hour just thinking about how much I seriously love you. And I know that people say that a lot, especially online, but I really, really love you, dude. Especially everyone who came out last night. Everybody who wanted to come out but couldn't. I had to tell some of you last night, Gabbie Hanna fans are built different, and I know that. We know each other different. I know that you understand and you know me, and because of that, I know that I understand and know you, because we just know each other, and I know you know what I'm talking about. So for everyone who has only ever seen me and accepted me for who I am and just appreciated and respected what I was doing, I and love you.
Where she just kind of explains how grateful she is for her fans. And then we have this TikTok. Which is responding to a comment saying, if I were her, this is a video I would look back on in a few years and remember how happy I was in it. Don't ruin it for her. And someone said, it's so bad. She's just screaming into the mic at this point. Target break room singer vibes. It's giving MGK except worse. Lol, all 2 audience members singing. Yikes, no. And then another one that she posted. I'm surrounded by stars. It must have heard my wishes. And then not one note in key, you go girl. They definitely being paid to be there. They seem very confused. She thinks she's in a movie or something. Let it go, please. Why does it sound like that? What harmony is this? What are the notes? Then she posts this in response to, you can't just yell and call it music. And that was the general consensus for her live show. People also mocked the trousers, and then she actually let everyone know that it was designer. Now, hear me out, designer doesn't mean fashionable. So people are allowed to call something ugly And just because it was expensive doesn't all of a sudden make it not ugly, because actually designer clothes are very ugly. But, you know, it's all subjective. If she likes the trousers, she likes the trousers. If you don't, you don't. Okay? And then we have, allegedly, when she was doing the live show, she was smoking inside of the venue. And this, like, small account on Instagram, just like a random guy, went to the show and he recorded the whole thing. So I'm going to play that for you guys, which some people thought was just really inconsiderate and probably not within the guidelines and rules of the venue. So it's just really weird that she can't, like, stop smoking even when she's, like, performing. That is all the updates I had on Gabbie Hanna. People are just mocking her art, and it's crazy because she's not focusing on YouTube as much in order to do music, but then when she does music, people mock her for it. So I just don't know where this is going. I'm going to be honest with you guys, but that is it. If you guys enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, anything, comment down below, and subscribe to post videos every time something happens. So hit that bell, you'll be notified when that's happening. Social media links, any of the links in the description. I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.